Good morning, everybody. It's BJ from Yard Breather Outdoors. It is Saturday, August 4th, and welcome to the much anticipated, per messages that I've been getting, part 3 of a 4-part series entitled Planning a Do-It-Yourself Hunt to North Dakota for Waterfowl and Upland Birds. We got a lot of things to go through, so excuse all my notes. So let's get started. Alright, so you've got your place to stay, you've got your license, you know the area you're going to hunt. What next? Well, you got to get out there, okay? Let's talk about vehicle to get out there and trailers and things like that. Okay, you're going to want to have a reliable vehicle to get out there, okay? And even beyond that, make sure that you have your vehicle brought in, make sure you have it checked by a mechanic to make sure it's worthy of going out there so you don't find yourself stuck on the side of the road in the middle of the night. Get an oil change. You're going to want to have those fan belts looked at. As a matter of fact, if I were you, I'd buy an extra fan belt or two and throw it in a roadside emergency pack just in case. Make sure that your tires are ready to go. Make sure that you're not leaking anything. As far as a roadside emergency kit is concerned, make sure you have a good jack. Make sure you have a good spare tire. Make sure that you have a proper lug wrench, and even bring a toolbox along with some general tools. There are things I can tell you. Bring an extra set of keys along. The first year that I was out in North Dakota, we got my keys locked inside my vehicle. I didn't have a spare set of keys. And nor at that time did the truck I was driving have keyless entry or the pads for the combination to get in. We ended up jimmying our way in with a wire. Crisis averted. You're going to want to make sure that you bring along a tow strap just in case you happen to get stuck or you see somebody that's stuck. And finally, you're also going to want to make sure that you have yourself a pair of jumper cables, or better yet, portable power source. Because if you're out on the prairie by yourself, it's going to be probably a long walk and a big inconvenience to go to the farmer and ask him to come out and give you a jump or whatever. So, things to keep in mind. If you're trailering out there, whether it be a boat or transporting equipment, make sure that the lights work. Make sure you have the proper ball size for your trailer. Make sure you got a spare tire for the trailer, and as always, make sure that those hubs are lubed up. The other thing I'm going to suggest to you also is gas money. You're going to spend a lot of time driving out there, and if you're like me, you're going to spend a lot of time driving around and scouting, so extra gas money is very important. Keep that in mind. All right, other things to keep in mind. Maps, GPS, and things like that. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but if you're out on the prairie, Wi-Fi and internet access through your phone is extremely hit and miss, if anything. So make sure you've got an actual physical map that you understand and that can help you through those spots where you may not have any type of like Google Maps access. The other thing I can tell you about the roads out there is if you're in some of the smaller towns and whatnot, and the county roads, the highways, they're more often not going to be paved. However, once you start getting away from those towns, the roads go from paved to gravel to 2 gravel ruts to minor indentations going through a field. So understand that even these minor indentations in fields could be considered roads. If you watch my video last year, the first part where I was hunting North Dakota, I was using Google Maps to get to a particular location, and it recognized 2 ruts going along a lake and down into a lake as a road. Just a side note, there was a bunch of flooding that took place about 8 years ago out there, and a lot of these roads were washed out, and then afterwards a lot of those waters remained, so it's not weird or unusual to see 2 ruts go down to a lake and come up on the other side. Alright, so food and supplies, what should you bring out there? Well, as far as food is concerned, I'm going to suggest this first. I know the temptation is there to buy local because it's very convenient. However, my suggestion to you is this: going out there, buy out there. And why do I say that? Well, a lot of these small communities depend on tourist dollars, okay? And sportsmen, like hunters, fishermen, and trappers, they're no exceptions. So make use of those local convenience stores, local mom and pop grocery stores, restaurants, things like that. They appreciate it. Along the lines with that, make sure you understand their hours of operation, because being that they're out in sparsely populated areas, their hours are going to be very different. True story, last year I was out on the prairie, I was running short on some things and needed to get some milk, eggs, or whatever. The local grocery store in the town that I stayed at was only open on Mondays and Thursdays, and the next closest one was only open from 7 to 3:30, Monday through Sunday. So I found myself driving half an hour to the closest town and then driving a half an hour back. So keep that in mind. They're not going to have the normal business hours. Okay, so along the lines with that, it's good to make an emergency list of businesses and whatnot. What I mean by that is, if you have your area that you're going to hunt or stay or whatever, make sure that you make note of local businesses that can help you out. Where's the nearest hospital or medical clinic? If you're taking a dog out there, make sure you have a local vet number set up. Wrecker services, mechanics, hardware stores, gas stations, things like that. Those are all handy to have if something bad happens. And like I said again, make sure you pay attention to the hours of operation. All right, moving on. So, you know, food. What should I eat while I'm out there? Again, it all depends on the type of hunt that you want to do. Myself, when I wake up in the morning, I want to be out the door and hunting, so I do a lot of grab and go food in the morning. I may have coffee and a bagel, maybe like donuts, whatever, have that quick in the morning, but I also bring stuff with me out in the blind so I can get out there. So something portable. I'll come back in the afternoon, I'll have a decent lunch, I might take a nap, and then we'll go out scouting in the afternoon, and then usually the sit-down meal will be in the evening. That's how I do it. If you want to do it the other way around, that's great. Even more so, if you find yourself that you harvest some birds out there, you may want to actually eat some of it out there, so make sure that you bring some things along to prepare those birds while you're out there. All right, as far as equipment, let's talk about clothing. It all depends on what the weather is going to be like. My suggestion to you is pay attention to the weather patterns right up to the day you leave and prepare accordingly. If it looks like it's going to be warm out there, you may want to dress lightly. If it looks like it's going to be cold, pack accordingly. Myself, personally, to make everything easy, I get a big tote bin and I fill it up with all my clothes, my waders, heavy jacket, light jacket, all that. So everything is right there, nice, convenient, packable. Everything's right where I need it. It's very convenient. But, I mean, there are some general things that I would suggest you bring out there. Bring out a set of binoculars. We'll talk about tactics and things in part 4, but I bring out a layout line, a marsh stool, decoys. I bring out a spare gun. That's always a good idea to have if you're able to. Tools, a thermos, a backpack, or some type of blind bag, extra water, all those things. Beyond that, extra license. If you buy your license online, what happens is North Dakota will send you a PDF image via email, and you print that out. My suggestion to you is print out 2 copies on paper, but also save an image on your phone, or maybe if you've got a laptop or even on a thumb drive. That's convenient. Anything else beyond that is completely up to you as far as your comfort level. Okay, what makes things the best possible experience that you can have. Just some things to keep in mind. So that's the end of part 3. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to put them down below here in the comments section. Subscribe to my blog. We're going to be working on part 4 here real quick. We're going to talk about tactics and hunting related things that while you're out there, because hunting in North Dakota may be a little different than the state you hunt in. I know it's a little different than Wisconsin where I hunt, so stay tuned for that. Until then, you guys have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.